Jays fans were fired up today in the Rogers Center as the Blue Jays picked up their first win in Toronto of the season. So we'll break that down on this episode of Jays Digest, as well as Jose Berrios. The man is incredible. He had to step up big time in this first part of the season for the Jays, and he's done that and more. So we'll have that and much more coming up next on Jays. What's up, Jays fans? I'm your host, Peter Vroynis, alongside host Nick Gosse. Hopefully you're all enjoying the final of the NCAA basketball tournament that's going on right now. It's halftime, so tune into this Jays Digest episode that we're about to drop. But that was a good win for the Toronto Blue Jays. Very exciting, and they were able to get the job done. It got a little bit scary at the end there with Chad Green. Didn't exactly have the best stuff, but hey, they got the job done. They got timely hitting from everyone in their lineup pretty much, and this was a great team victory right now. Now, the Jays have proven time and time again, Nick, that they don't have one offensive superstar that is just going to carry this team to victory. They've proven that in the past 2 years plus, so they need contributions 1 through 9, and they got that today. Everybody in the lineup got a hit except for George Springer, who continues to struggle to open up the season. But IKF chipped in, Davis Schneider chipped in, Kevin Biggio as well defensively, Kevin Kiermaier. Everyone did their job tonight, especially on the pitching side, and this was a great way to open up their season at the Rogers Center.
Yeah, definitely one of their most complete games of the season from all fronts. Before getting into it, a quick reminder, hit the subscribe button if you like Daily Jays content. Peter, it's nice to have your face back after the audio episode yesterday, but it was a special day for the Blue Jays, for the Blue Jays fans, obviously for us as fans. Very different looking angle from, I guess, watching on television. The Rogers Center renovations look very good. It's an interesting, the corner of the outfields are still need a bit of work, but we'll get into that after. Peter, let's just start with Jose Berrios, and we'll usually go into the offense first, but today is special. Jose Berrios, and it's his turnaround since his 2022 season has really been crazy. Today he goes 6 2/3, 4 hits, 6 strikeouts. Absolutely unbelievable game from him. He's under contract for 2 more years. He is looking like, him alongside Kevin Gausman, the ace of this staff, and to start the season, he has been undeniably the best pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Absolutely, and I know Ross Atkins has gotten some moves wrong, but this one was an absolute fleece job. I don't know if I've heard Austin Martin's name being called. Simeon Woods Richardson, same thing for him. This was an amazing trade by the Toronto Blue Jays front office, and to re-sign Jose Berrios on top of that, that was the cherry on top, and he's just been so good to open up this season. I said it before the year started, he could be a dark horse for the Cy Young Award. And right now his ERA is under 1.6, and it's looking like that might become true. I'm not saying he's going to win the award, but he's definitely going to be in the mix if he keeps pitching this way. And I know he had a terrible 2022 season, Nick. We know that. It's been well documented. But at the same time, before he came over to the Blue Jays, he was one of the more consistent starters in baseball. And in that half season that he had before his rough year in 2022, he was really good for the Jays as well. So I think it was just an anomaly. It was something that happened, and for whatever reason, he just couldn't find it. He couldn't find it that season, and it didn't work out for him, but he's back now. He's been very good for over a year after that bad season, and just an amazing performance today. I really wanted him to stay out and finish that 7th inning. I thought he really deserved it. It was the right move in hindsight by John Schneider. I don't think he deserved the boos when he came out of the dugout and made the call to the bullpen to bring in Yimi Garcia. But still, you want to see him finish the job, and he deserved to walk off the field with his teammates. And on the point of my face being back in the video, it depends who you ask, Nick, but I'm happy that it's back in here.
Yeah, and you made the call early on in the season. Keegan Madison agrees with you. He says, I really feel like everything is there for Berrios to have the best season of his career. He looks unbelievable. And you mentioned the trade. Yeah, Austin Martin, he got called up to the Twins, I think, this season. He's played got 3 at-bats. He's not going to be a big factor for them going forward. Simeon Woods Richardson, maybe. But that's a trade you do 100 times out of 100, no matter what team you are, and one that I can almost guarantee you the Twins regret, whether that's in the sense of trying to keep him or maybe get a different package back. But fleece job by Ross Atkins, and you think back, Peter, to the end of 2022 season when a lot of fans were saying, wow, that contract is looking bad because of his 5.22, whatever it was, ERA. He is completely changed it. Everyone was raving about him today, and yeah, unbelievable. You can see Bobby Nicholson-Smith has now worked at least 6 innings in each of his 3 starts this season. He's been a steadying rock, and without him, Peter, the Jays' record, which is now 5-6, which is really respectable given what how bad they've been, it would be a lot worse if Berrios hadn't been able to do that. But you were right about the fans. Fans were fired up today. They booed Guillermo Martinez. They booed John Schneider. They booed John Schneider again when he came out to get the pitcher change. The fans want wins, and they got one today, and the crowd was energized.
They got one today, and the Jays are 3-0, and Jose Berrios starts to open up the season. So he has been steady as rock so far, and hopefully he can keep it going. He's so athletic. He doesn't miss starts.
Nope.
He's very durable. So the contract, once the Blue Jays signed him to that deal, I mean, it looked amazing because you're getting a young starter. He was, I believe, 27 at the time or something like that. You're getting a young starter who doesn't miss starts, who has been very consistent for the rest of like his career pretty much.
Yeah.
So I think it was a great deal. It looks like an even better deal right now, and really happy he's a Blue Jay. Really happy that he had a great outing today. And yeah, Jays fans were fired up in the Rogers Center. They got to bring that energy on a nightly basis because this team needs all the help that they can get in every facet of the game.
And let's look at the offense a bit. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. starting to look a little bit better. Lace a couple balls. Bo Bichette's getting there too. I think the offense, you mentioned it about not having that one guy. Like, obviously they have, Bo Bichette and Vladdy who are capable of that, but they have not shown that the past couple years and start the season. But Peter, when you have guys, I think David Schneider has earned himself now. He's going to be playing most days, I would assume. But when you have guys like the bottom of the order, Alejandro Kirk, Kevin Biggio, even IKF looked really good today. A couple of hard hit balls and 2 hits there. If they can get going on the offensive end, we saw how good they are defensively. Kevin Kiermaier made several good plays. Huge shout out to Kevin Biggio, who had a double and, 2 gold stars, as Buck and Dan Schulman said, and they had. And IKF is a gold glover there at third when he plays it usually, besides that horrible tag today. The team has the potential, and they can win games, and they can really make a playoff run. They just need to get the offense going, because we know what the pitching's going to bring, albeit it's been a bit of a shaky start. But I have faith. I have faith in the team, and I texted you it before the game that I think this is going to be the start of a run for the Jays. And I only say that because if the offense wakes up a little bit, the rest of it seems to be in place pretty well.
Oh, it was very tough to start the season on the road for 10 games in a row and against those tough opponents as well. So we both mentioned it, Nick, that we had to see an extended homestand before we can write them off for the rest of the season. Baseball has a lot of games, 162 games. They only played 10, and it's not worst case scenario going back to the Rogers Center either, because they managed to win 4 out of those 10, right? So it's not like dire. And one guy that really stood out to me today, obviously Kevin Biggio's defense was fantastic, and Kevin Kiermaier, platinum glover out there, he's going to do what he does. But Davis Schneider, shortening up his swing with 2 strikes and 2 outs with runners in scoring position, that's not really something that we've seen out of him in the early parts of his big league career. He's usually a all or nothing type of hitter. Guy who's going to hit an extra base hit or strike out, and he's susceptible to strike out. He did today, but he showed today that he can shorten up his swing, put the ball in play, and drive in the run when it matters most. It was a 3-1 count, something like that,
so,
or 2-2 count. It was a 2-2 count.
2 strikes for sure.
2-2 count and 2 outs, and the bases were loaded, and he managed to shorten up his swing, and he got those 2 runs home. And that's huge. The Jays needed that in that situation. They didn't need a big fly from Davis Schneider, which obviously we know he's capable of hitting, but they needed him to shorten it up. They needed him to get the ball in play and drive in a run or 2, and that's exactly what he did. And we haven't really seen that from Davis Schneider, and I think him being able to adjust that way will allow him to be in the lineup on a regular basis. So we've seen him play against lefties majority of games, but then he sits the next day, or he has a good day at the plate and he's not in the lineup the next day. Part of that is on John Schneider, but also it's on him for not being adaptable and being a one-dimensional hitter. But I think he's changed that now, and I think he's able to adapt, and he's going to be a really big part of this team going forward.
And hopefully they can continue to do what they did today, which was put together runs and have great pitching. And that needs to happen tomorrow. If they need to put together some wins, get back to 500 and go from there. But that'll wrap it up. First game of many we're going to be covering from the Blue Jays playing in the Rogers Center. It was good to watch. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe button. And if you want to check out our video from yesterday, click on your screen now. We'll see you tomorrow.